April 2nd, 1931. An exhibition game between the Chattanooga Lookouts and the New York Yankees was to take place. An occurrence that would seem practically normal and blasé, if not for one particularly interesting factor that was in play for the game. A factor that had attracted the attentions of over 4,000 fans and sports writers. The reason that so many packed into the stands that day? A player by the name of Virne Beatrice Mitchell, better known by her nickname, Jackie Mitchell. The 17-year-old phenom was one of the first women to be signed by a professional team on a contract. Jackie Mitchell was born August 29, 1913, in Chattanooga, Tennessee. She weighed a little over 3 pounds at birth. Her parents, Dr. Joseph Mitchell and Virne Mitchell, were critical in her early years in influencing her to always be active. According to accounts, as soon as she could walk, her father took her to the baseball diamond to teach her the basics of the sport. Eventually, the family moved from their home in Chattanooga and relocated to Memphis, where another important element in Mitchell's early life would take place. Her next-door neighbor happened to be a professional baseball player himself. At the time, he played for the minor leagues. He was a man named Dazzy Vance, and he'd eventually carve a spot into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Mitchell learned from Vance the ins and outs of pitching, in particular, teaching her what came to be known as her signature drop pitch, which caused the ball to drop right before home plate. She learned how to do this right around the age of 6. As Jackie Mitchell grew older, she developed, according to her father's own scouting report, one of the most deceptive pitching deliveries. She was known as coordinated and tough, and was also very versatile. She was quite the basketball player. At the age of 16, she attended a baseball school in Atlanta, Georgia. It was there she attracted the attention of a man called Joe Engel. Joe Engel was president of the Chattanooga Lookouts, a minor league team. Like any other team during that time, they had one big issue that needed solving: how to sell tickets. It was the Great Depression, and teams had to be creative to get people to attend their games. Engel, who was called a master of promotion by some, was a very creative man and knew how to gather a crowd. His signing of Jackie Mitchell was very clearly an attempt to sell tickets. Engel offered Mitchell the 1-year deal while she was playing at a basketball tournament in Dallas. When she heard of the deal being offered, she raced back to Tennessee to become only the second woman to be offered an opportunity such as this. Not only would the contract prove notable in the sports world, but Mitchell also needed a way to pay for her college tuition. The day of the game, over 4,000 fans and sports writers had turned up to see the new pitcher. They wanted to know how she would fare in the game if she got her opportunity. If the time came, she'd be up against the notorious Murderer's Row, one of the most feared batting lineups in baseball's history. The game started. The starting pitcher struggled and gave up a single run. That prompted the team manager to send out Mitchell to the mound. After a few warm-up pitches, she threw 2 straight strikes right across the plate against Babe Ruth. Ruth ordered the ball to be inspected, according to multiple writers. Even so, the next pitch she threw struck out Babe Ruth, and that was that. She then proceeded to strike out the next batter, Lou Gehrig, who met with similar results. After this, her performance began to tail off, and she was taken off the field to thunderous cheers from the crowd. Despite what took place, the Lookouts went on to lose 14-4. While it's easy to take the described events at face value, there is a lot of evidence that suggests the whole event was staged. Joe Engel, the owner, was well known for pulling stunts in a similar fashion. Babe Ruth himself was also very fond of being a part of vaudevillian stunts. There is also the fact that Ruth and Gehrig were extraordinary batters. Striking the two of them out back-to-back would be incredibly difficult, especially for a newcomer. On the other hand, Ruth and Gehrig are both left-handed batters, and to face a lefty pitcher like Mitchell was a difficult task. Add to that their unfamiliarity with her style, and the stories surrounding the game could be true. Lou Gehrig was also known as a very serious man. Engaging in antics like this would have been out of character for him. Not too long after this game became national news, Mitchell's contract was voided by Commissioner Kennesaw Mountain Landis because, according to him and many others, baseball was too strenuous for a woman. After her contract was voided, Mitchell played for a few semi-pro teams until she ended up playing for a team called the House of David. However, they were anything but an ordinary team. Their games were often not much more than a spectacle, a show more than a competition. Women had always played a prominent role in baseball's early years, but these types of teams were often all they had. Mitchell eventually retired completely from baseball after she grew tired of the team's circus-like antics. Her story was often used as nothing more than a sideshow. Not much more is known about Jackie Mitchell. She kept her life very private for the most part. In 1892, she came out to throw the opening pitch for the Chattanooga Lookout. 5 years later, however, she passed away at the age of 76. But until her death, she insisted that she did indeed strike out Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig.